Hello. Good evening, because it's in the evening. It's almost 9:30. I have made a video in the room like this in the past when I just came from school. At the time, my excuse was I cannot make a video in the morning because I don't know what I'm gonna be doing that day. Today, I woke up, had a big time on my hand. I baked some food here, right? It didn't come out great because the grease went in the oven and the smoke went up. The smoke detector came up. Actually, I need to fix that smoke detector. So I had to unplug it so that I can actually prevent the noisy, so people won't call the cops about the house on fire. But anyways, so I had so much time today. I didn't have anything else to do. I just prepared myself, took a shower, had some drinks, have some food, and I went to class because today is the first day of the classroom openings at the Catholic University of America. So I had a very long day to do absolutely nothing. I could have made a video on my camera. However, I did not feel like I was ready. Okay. Many things have happened in DC. Like you always know if you watch this video, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe later on, because I don't know when this video will be uploaded. I have more videos on YouTube that I need to upload. But you know, the what I'm trying to say here is that the what can I say? Yesterday I received like a video on LinkedIn from Jerome Powell. He is the chair of Federal Reserve Bank, and he was sort of like complaining about Donald Trump getting involved or forcing him to lower the interest rate, and also Trump was pressuring DOJ. DOJ is the Department of Justice, to investigate him about possible crimes, right? So he was sort of complaining about it. Okay, now remember, you should not worry about this. I don't have to worry about this. Yes, the economy might crumble a little bit if there is a dispute between the government and the Jerome Powell, or JP, as you call him that way. But just remember that this guy was appointed by Donald Trump back in 2018. So to me, not a big deal. I really don't care. Okay, or his team, or his people that he has appointed, they have came out to criticize him. Some have resigned. Right? We know Tyra Marjorie, she has forgotten already. I made a video about her. Elon Musk, I made a video about her, about him, right? All those things. So I will talk about this maybe in the future. For now, I just want to say that that's what is in the news. Okay, then you have Iran going on, Minnesota going on. I see those things. Okay, but today's class was about data science, big data. So it's an exciting class because I'm really interested in this class because I'm a very techy person. So I enjoy technology, and I'm glad that I'm taking this class right now as I'm studying economics. I think it's going to be very helpful in the future, whether in the job market or in just more personal projects. Other than that, I was say today was a good day. I didn't make a video about it, but it was a fantastic day. Now, something to talk about today that I have mentioned in past videos, but I did not really touch on it as much, is the housing market. Okay, for many years, the United States has many housing market. They have many inventories on the market. Okay, there has been many houses on the market, but when you try to buy a house, the house is very expensive. And when you ask the economists and all the big bosses out there, they tell you that there is a shortage of houses. Okay, that's the excuse they come up with. Okay, and in simple economic terms, the shortage of houses means that there is more buyers, not enough supply. Okay, that I think there's like a gas leak somewhere. This always happens every day. I don't know why. that is the excuse that these people in the finance come up with. Okay, there's not enough supply. If there's enough supply, there will be in lower prices. Okay, sounds like an easy thing, right? 2008, we saw a housing bubble where the houses became the market crashed, right? Because they are giving up more loans. But the key issue actually is not the supply of houses; it's the affordability. Okay, how many people how people have money, but they don't have enough money to afford the houses on the market. So the numbers are out there, the inventory is out there, but the income is not enough to afford houses. This is particularly to people who are at the stage of purchasing a house. Okay, these people can include the family members, right? A family of two, so that means someone who's married to another person, right? You have couples, those people deserve to buy a house. If I'm single in this apartment, as soon as I finish college and I have a job and I have a wife, right? Then God bless, we have a kid, right? I should have a house. That is the main assumption. That's the main expectation. Okay, and many people who have been, in their early 30s, late 40s, they cannot afford a house because it's too expensive. Okay, so when this happens, the economists are pressured so much. Okay, because the economists, they believe they don't really focus on external factors, they focus on internal factors, and those internal factors can include things like the interest rate, okay, the consumer market, the income. Okay, so for many years, particularly the Democrats and the Federal Reserve Bank and the big institutions, they work together to solve those key problems: the interest rate, access to credit, and the last option, which was increase the income. So this is how we see, like in California, for example, which is a very democratic, they increase the home prices. Okay, in New York, the home prices goes up, but they also, instead of reducing the home prices or set a cap of the home prices, or I'll focus on other measures that are very crucial, they instead increase the income of people. So they ask corporations to pay more money. All right, but you will never get enough money to buy a house, actually, if that makes sense. Okay, because the prices of something is stabilized based on the market, the price of the market, not necessarily based on supply. Okay, you can have too many supply of things, but it still costs too much money. Okay, like how many cars are out there on the inventory on the road on every single car dealer, but you cannot find a car that costs $2. All right, no matter how many cars they produce, cars will still be expensive. All right, but imagine if each American person, if every American owns 10 cars. Okay, each American has 10 cars. At some point, people would have to sell their cars for $2 because they cannot really, have a place to park them, right? But because there's a specific business, there's a specific person who has so much money, and that person has a big land, they can park a bunch of vehicles. Like CarMax is an example. They can park a bunch of vehicles somewhere, keep them on inventory for a long time. They don't care. They don't want to go below the prices. Okay. So that's the key. That's what I'm trying to discuss here. That's what I'm trying to focus on. That's the example. That's an analogy that I'm trying to give out. Okay. So for many years, the housing market, we have many inventories. People build houses every single day in America. Okay. Construction jobs out there, which is why we have Mexican workers. They're here to work. They're working. They're making money. They are building more and more houses. Okay. But recently, this is like under Barack Obama's presidency, but even before that, but during Barack Obama's presidency, something happened. Something happened that was very, very important. Okay, corporations, big corporations, BlackRock, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, big corporations, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, big corporations, they jumped into the business. They started buying residential houses. Okay, but before I jump to that, let me make it clear. How did corporations jump into this business? I mean, why didn't they do it a long time ago, right? Why is in 1950 you could buy a house from somebody who you know, your neighbor, your friend, right? Local real estate agent. Okay, that was easy. Okay, why did corporations feel the need to jump to the corporate? How did that start? Okay, so let's start from there. A lot of corporations based in big cities. Okay, New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, right? Which other city can I think of? Miami, like all these big cities, right? Chicago. This is where the big corporations are based. Okay, and these corporations, they raise the prices on goods. Okay, the more profit they make, the more prices they make. Okay, so then they buy more land, and the more land, and more, so they buy all the land. They build big offices, they build big factories across in those cities. So the prices of the land and the property goes up, the rent goes up. So people who live there, the individuals who live there, they cannot afford to live the place. So they have two options. Option number one is ask to reduce the rent, okay, which is nothing it's not something the corporation would do. Reduce rent or reduce taxes, or reduce rent or reduce the prices of houses. That is not something that the corporations will do. Okay, so we know that corporations don't do that. So the second option will be raise the wages. Okay, pay them more money. Okay, that is something that has been done to some extent. Okay, there have been jobs that pay so much money, right? Finance analyst, quantitative analyst, right? Researchers. Okay, what I will be doing in the future, they make a good money. The last option is to tax the rich and then subsidize the housing market. Okay, this is what we see in the big cities. We have affordable houses, we have government-backed loans, right? We have things like Section 8. Okay, those things exist for a reason. The government taxes the corporations and the big bosses who want more money, and then they give that money to the poor. Okay, so corporations came up with an idea. Okay, should we keep paying more taxes? How can we escape taxes? To do that, they saw a large number of people, those people who are asking for raise, those Democrats, middle-aged people, they are known as millennials, right? The millennial group, who are making so much money in the city, they are close to getting retiring. Okay, 40s, 50s. Okay, they are retiring, and they think, corporations think, what can we do here? Okay, well, first, these people cannot afford the houses market in the city, and they cannot qualify for the affordable housing credit. That's for the poor people. Okay, so these middle class people, we can move them somewhere. Okay, so where can they go? Well, they will go to small cities that are growing, cities like Charlotte, North Carolina, cities like Columbia, South Carolina, cities like Austin, Texas, where these cities are very small, and if we can build a house there, we can play the game. Okay, and this is how the game is gonna work. We build the houses. This is a corporations, right? Corporation making the ideas, right? We build the houses there, and then after building houses, let me put my camera somewhere so I can easily talk about this in a way that makes sense, because this is very important. Because I had an argument with somebody on this person is oh Jesus, what's happening here? Having a hard time. This person is a researcher at Redfin. So I'm trying to know that this is gonna work. Oh geez, I'm having a hard time to place my camera somewhere where it's going to be very good to record this video. Because I think this is very important to talk about this situation so people know what's going on. Can I put it over here? But I will need to have, let me show it can stand. Yeah, if it was during the day, I would have put my camera on over there and talk about it. But now, if I do this way, people won't be able to see me because geez, this is really hard. I don't wanna keep holding my camera in my hand, and I don't wanna sound like a TikToker with the camera in my hand, with something like I don't know if this will work. Can this work? Why am I having a hard time making this work? Oh my god, this is okay. Oh yeah, this works. See my camera, I need my camera to stabilize. That's what I need. Just need a stabilizing. Okay, cool. I hope this works. So I hope it's not gonna be fast for this. So the reason I want to make being a camera like this because I use my hand to gesture to showcase what I'm talking about, right? It makes kind of sense. Am I in a frame? Yeah, I'm in a frame here. So I was talking about, okay, talk about the housing market, right? The housing market, the corporations buying up the housing market, right? And so these corporations, they realized if they keep building, am I visible enough? I don't know if I'm visible enough because of the, jeez, this one really sucks. Because I don't want to use lighting. I don't want to use lighting in my face. Last time it looks great on me, but I want to use lighting on my face. But anyways, so I hope this is good. Yeah. Okay. So if you cannot see the GoPro handle, that would be good. All right. Okay. Let me be quick, real quick. I have a few minutes to get this video. I have a few minutes to end this video. So corporations, right? They want to escape taxes. They want to pay taxes in the city, right? What can they do? Well, what they can do is go to these small towns, these small cities which are growing faster, and these cities have they are mostly run by the Democrats. They are run by the Republicans, and the Republicans are anti-taxes. The Democrats are pro-taxes, progressive taxes. Now, these corporations, they're in the city. Remember, they're in the city. They're hiring more educated people, more smart people, like paying them more money, right? People are making more money. They are, enjoying the beauty of paycheck. Now they are close retirement. The family is growing. They want to buy a house. How can they buy a house? They don't know. Corporation is because in the big cities they have progressive tax. That's the Democrat taxing method, right? The tax the more you make. So both the middle class and the corporations are being taxed so high because they're making more profit, right? So it becomes an idea. Let's go to small towns, buy a bunch of houses there, especially the residential houses that the people who are middle class really need, okay? And then, because there's no taxes in this area, there's small taxes in this area, the benefits of us buying houses there is going to be much higher, because even if they tax us at a 10% tax rate, right, you'll be saving more money compared to if we build the same houses in a city like New York City, and the taxing rate is like 40%. Okay, so you can save money over time. So that was the main idea. So they go to these small towns, they plan about it, they discuss about it, they go to small towns, they talk to these Republican people, right, in small towns who most likely didn't go to school. They're anti-taxes, so they're like, oh yeah, we see Texas bragging about this, right? We are anti-taxes, we come here, we know Elon Musk went to Texas for that same reason, right? We love this, come here, build houses, the corporations go over there, they build a bunch and a bunch of they buy a lot of residential houses, okay? They buy them at very low prices, okay? Talking about $230,000, okay? They buy a bunch of these, and that's what they do. They keep the inventory, okay? They don't sell, they keep, and then they keep until the demand of those houses goes up, okay? So not only do they own the houses in the city, big cities where they have a bunch of houses they're selling, okay, and these houses are in bad condition, okay, they don't want to renovate them, there's high taxes, and they keep voting for the same politicians in the big cities to keep the prices higher in the city so they can drive these middle class people to small towns, small cities where they can build, where they have already built the houses, they own those houses, and they can charge as much as they want, okay? This is called oligopoly and monopoly, okay? There's another term I used for this, but this is like the main idea, okay? So they did this for a long time, okay? It's been many years. Every house you want to buy in America is owned by these corporations, specifically BlackRock. But I'm not gonna attack this company. I have no intention of attacking it. It's been in the media for a long time, but BlackRock buys a lot of houses, okay? But many corporations are doing the same thing. They go out there, they buy the houses. They're not trying to sell. Remember, when you buy a house, okay, and you sell it, okay, that is a good thing, okay? You buy, you put on the market, okay, people come, give you the bid, they negotiate. The longer the house stays on the market, the more it loses the value, okay? It loses the prices, okay? You lose money because you have to spend money to innovate. You have to spend money to pay taxes. When you say proper tax, you have with utility running, like you have a lot of things happening at the same time. You have to advertise on the market, you advertise to people, right? You have to hire somebody to find the customers, the commissioners, right? So more money goes into it, and that price goes to the buyer, okay? So if a house has been on the market for 21 days, if the original price was $400,000, the price is gonna go up, okay? This is why when you buy a house, they tell you, oh, the price is gonna go up soon, you better buy now. They mean it because they know it's gonna go up. Now let's say you're a small investor. You are, I am James. I just finished college, right? I'm getting a job. I'm like making some money. YouTube is running. I have a YouTube channel that's growing, right? And then I start selling houses. I build the houses. I start selling them. Okay, this corporation, and then I wanna get a profit of like 2%. I don't do too much. 2% profit. Okay, I build the house today. Tomorrow you show up, I sell it to you, okay? When I build the house, the corporations will come and say, James, you have a good price, no negotiation, just want to buy your house, okay? I'm like, sweet, give me the money. Give me the money, I sell the house, okay? So they buy the house for individual sellers, and they build their own houses. Now they have the monopoly to control all the market. Okay, so if you're a buyer, you're a new buyer, you're a young person, you're in your 40s and 50s and 30s, trying to buy a house, those houses trying to buy is owned by someone else, for an individual. If somebody comes up and that person wants to buy a house, somebody wants to buy a house from you, and if you want to sell, you have a house on a sale, okay, your own house on sale, buying a house, whatever, that house is going to be bought by BlackRock or another company, okay? So corporations bought a bunch of inventories, put them on the market, and raise the price, and they raise as much as they want. They can control the neighborhoods. They can control how much they sell and how much they keep. They have an influence on the Federal Reserve Bank. They have an influence. They can, if I work if I work for the Reserve Bank, and again, and how many people who work for the government, they go to work for these companies. Okay, so there is a bias. There is not a bias, but there is a conflict of interest playing around between the corporations and the government. Okay, so for many years, people have been advocating for these corporations to stop buying houses. This has been advocated. They told in 2020, this one happened so many times. In 2020, people, the corporations bought so many because they have so much money, right? Because they got the loans, the PPP loans, whatever. That money went to buying a bunch of houses. They bought more and more and more and more, and they built. Okay, and the prices, like Charlotte, North Carolina, the price is like $400,000. My parent bought a house in North Carolina, somewhere, okay, like 40 minutes from Charlotte, 40 minutes from Charlotte, an hour from Charlotte, North Carolina. If not Charlotte, North Carolina, an hour in the middle of nowhere. It takes an hour and a half to walk in each direction. They bought a house there for $400,000 loan, mortgage loan. Imagine that. When I saw this was my dad. I wasn't there. I did not pay any influence. My sister wanted to buy the same house. I told her, in no way paying much money for this house in the middle of nowhere. No companies, no grocery stores, nothing. If they are lucky, they might bring in and these houses are sold specifically to Africans, okay, mostly black folks, because they are the one who struggle to get houses. They are the one who don't go to school. They're the ones who also don't understand how the interest rate works. They don't understand how the whatever things works, right? So you have these things playing around. You have, this is called predatory. They are predatory, and then these people, these millennials who are struggling, these people are struggling. They don't know the financial background. They don't know what to do. They are juggling families and everything. They found themselves in because they found out that the house they want to buy cost $1 million. Okay, $500,000. That's an expensive house in the middle of nowhere. Okay, if they try the city house, that's like $2 million. Stupid house, looking terrible. Okay, excuse my language. But in the middle of nowhere, no jobs, no schools, nothing. That price, $500,000. For no reason, no explanation, the house cost double the price. No one can question, because these houses are sold by a corporation. They can charge as they want. They can charge as they please, right? So this is what we see. Okay, that's what we see happening right now. We are deciding for now. And in 2020, under Joe Biden, people complained. People thought Joe Biden would fix it because he was a Democrat, right? He did not. Even Kamala Harris, when she came in, she did not fix it. Even Donald Trump came in his first term, never fixed it. But this particular year, okay, Donald Trump did something very amazing. He commanded the Congress to pass the policy to stop corporations from purchasing residential houses. Okay, they have zero business. But what made me so angry is the lady that I know and I trust and I respect. She's an amazing black lady. She works for Redfin. I met her before. We have met before, right? She's the chief of economists at Redfin. You can look her up on LinkedIn. She wrote an article in 2018, I believe, on Forbes magazine, saying that we should not stop corporations from buying houses. Instead, we should tax, keyword, we should tax the renters. So tax the renters. That's the solution. Tax the renters. I don't know. What we're gonna lose? What we're gonna lose the money? Our renters are gonna say, okay, we are being overtaxed, so let's stop charging people more money. No, they're gonna pass the price over to this person, to the other people. Okay, this makes me now understand why American men are angry. It's a common sense. You do not have somebody. There's no reason to have multiple houses as a corporation. you don't have a business owning multiple houses you're not gonna live in. Okay, housing is essential. It's an exchange between people. You do not own multiple houses. Okay, so these corporations will buy houses and they will rent them out because nobody was buying them. They are losing money. So what they do, they rent them out to Airbnb, and so many Americans, they were actually renting houses. Okay, and then she also claimed that people also put the screenshot in here, but I don't want to do that. I will respect her, but she mentioned that people choose to rent. Nobody choose to rent. When I was in Uganda, I had my own house. I built when I was 18 years old. Okay, bought my own house. I told my family I need a house. They thought I was gonna get married, but actually I wasn't. I was just thinking like a business person because I grew up in a business family. Right? I just what I did, I just like found a place to buy. Asked my family, yeah, we're gonna build a house in this land. I just need a little bit of financial support to support I have, buy a house. I had my own house I lived in. It wasn't great, it wasn't perfect, but it was good. I wasn't paying rent. I never paid rent my whole life and taken to the United States. Okay, so I know what it feels to have a house. I have people who come and live with me for absolutely free. My brother will come in from the city, stay with me, absolutely free, no pressure, nothing. My family will come in and stay at my house the whole Christmas, chill around, eat, drink, do whatever, right? And it was in a town, it was in a city, in a sense, but in a town. So the key point I'm trying to make here is that nobody wants to rent. Even me at a younger age, when I heard about renting, I would panic. Okay, rent is no good. Nobody wants to rent. People want to buy houses. So what's going to happen if the Trump's idea is passed? Because it hasn't been passed yet, and I haven't looked into it. But intuitively makes sense when the article was published, when Trump mentioned it. I remember somebody mentioning it in my undergrad in the University of California, Riverside. Like, we need to stop corporations from buying houses, because I've done a real study before. I know what it means. All right. So ban corporations from buying houses. So what's going to happen if we ban corporations from buying houses? There's some implications if we ban corporations from buying houses. Okay. One of the key, but let me start with the positive side. The positive side is that if they ban corporations from buying houses, okay, we're gonna have small farms, individuals buying houses. Okay, I don't think they are banned completely, but they are like limited how much they can buy. Okay, so they can still buy. But once this law is passed, it means that individuals can now buy houses. Okay, so if too many people jump in the market and buy houses, they are not going to start holding the inventory for so long, waiting for the magic prices to go up. Okay, they're going to try to sell as soon as they can. And when too many people are trying to sell houses, they're trying to sell as much as they can. The prices may not go too low to negative, but it's going to stay on a stable level. Okay, so the profit will not exceed a specific amount of margin. Okay, so if the corporations want a profit of 30%, 60%, the profit is going to stay at a very low margin. Okay, about 10%, 2%. So people are going to be earning less profit, but sell more houses. Okay, there's a term that is called flipping houses. Okay, that's the term that people use out there. But the key I'm trying to make here is that the housing market, I know I'm saying this right now, it's almost 10 o'clock, but the housing market has been super nasty because of the corporations. So the positive thing is that people will be able to buy houses, and when they buy houses, they can eventually, just choose to sell as soon as they can. Okay, they can't hold more longer because they need to pay back the loans, right? They don't have the monopoly over the loans. Corporations have the monopoly of loans. They can use investors' money from the stock market, buy a bunch of houses, and they don't have to pay the dividends to the employee, to their boss, to their investors. Individual people, they will have like more take loans or use the individual money. They need to make profit. Okay, that will help. That will help these individuals. This will help, people buy houses much faster. If you want to sell a house, you will not have to be bought by the corporations. giving you the highest bid, or sometimes even having the highest power to bid, so they give you this money. That's actually possible. Right? You turn a sell a house, and so they basically say, hey, we're the only people in the market, so we can just pay you this money, right? And they can sell your house at double the price. We've been seeing this so many times. Somebody buys a house for $200,000, they sell it to $500,000. They make a bunch of profits on it. So if you're gonna sell a house, there will be somebody, an individual, coming to you and buying a house from you. Okay, so this came at the perfect time, because it came at a time where we have the interest rate cut, okay, by 25% points. Then we're gonna have this interest, the corporation purchasing houses capped, right? So that will give the more market, the actual inventory is gonna be out there to buy, people able to buy houses. And I think this is a good idea. I give this credit to Donald Trump. It's one way, it's a good direction towards the affordability of houses, alright? Crisis actually that we are in the United States. And this will also put less pressure on renters, because renters, the reason why they rent is because there's so many people looking for the same renting because they cannot afford the houses. But if people can buy houses, apartments will be empty, so the apartments will start reducing the rent, because there's not enough renters, right? There's high demand, there's less demand in more supply of houses, of apartments. They might even convert those apartments to what is it? They selling those houses on sell them as houses, townhouses, whatever that is. Okay, so this was such a good news, but I was very surprised when this person said this and said that it's not a bad idea. It's a good idea. The implication is that sometimes individual buyers of these houses, they get the money from corporations. They take loans from Wells Fargo, they take loans from Bank of America, they take loans from JP Morgan. Okay, so corporations might actually turn around and raise the interest rate, or raise the fees, or raise the insurance premiums for these individuals. Okay, they might buy the land, because this law does not restrict corporations from buying land. It only focuses on residential houses. Okay, so corporations may buy the land and then sell the land to someone else, and that land costs much money. And if the price of the land goes up, then the house is going to cost more, right? And what I'm going to be studying this semester in big data is going to be about predicting the housing market in the future. But this is something I've been trying to talk about. Okay, it's a big topic in America. If you don't live in America, if you don't live in the United States, and you're watching this video from somewhere else, just know that in the United States right now, the biggest topic is housing market. It's not, no one cares about the Venezuelan war, nobody cares about the LGBTQ, nobody cares about the, what we can come up with, Iranian war, whatever that is, tariffs, no one cares. People care about housing in the United States, because many people in America, they have money, they have cash, they have jobs, but they're constantly squeezed all the time, so they cannot afford the houses. And who does that? It's the corporations. And who owns the corporations? It's the investors. Investors, they're happy. A, they have discount. B, they buy from what they already invested in. And C, they have their own houses already, so they don't have any problem. Okay, they're seeking for the profits. That's great, nothing wrong with it. So Trump has fixed one thing. He hasn't fixed yet. Okay, so not yet. We cannot necessarily rule out. He pressured the Federal Reserve Bank toward interest rate, which he did. That was great, but he hasn't yet fixed one thing, which is the employment rate. Okay, but hopefully that will also be worked out. Okay, so that's all for today. I apologize for the camera. I'm trying to fix the camera, but now I think it's stable, right? I think I'm in frame, my face. But thanks for watching, and like always, hey, this is night, but I promise I'm gonna make this video during the day. Thanks for watching. Like always, have a wonderful Monday, and I will see you tomorrow. Today is January 12th. I don't think I mentioned that. Thanks for watching. Like always, I hope you buy a house, and bye bye. Ciao ciao. Adios. And cut. Okay, so my hand is visible. It's not visible by this side. All right, thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.